Riders forming up for leg 2 of the 750cc TT Superbike class here at Oulton Park. And if you were watching earlier in the day, you will know that we had the first leg. The table now stands as a result of that race, with Rob McElnea extending his lead on 1:36 from Haslam, who had a valiant run from 13th place to grab second. Stringer, Reynolds and Morrison, they're all in with a shout, but look at McElnea's lead. Haslam will be doing something about that if he possibly can. Hopefully to get a better start this time. He's on the front row, but in pole position, it's McElnea, number 8. Alongside him, it's Brian Morrison. Reynolds is in the middle. Terry Rymer, who retired with brake problem and had a flying start this time. Haslam again was pretty sluggish off the line, just couldn't get the Norton away, but Terry Rymer into an early lead. Rob McElnea slotting into second place, with John Reynolds filling in the sandwich again. So a great 750cc start, everyone's safely away. 14 laps, 38.78 miles. The Loctite Yamahas are out in front, 1 and 2. Steve.
Yeah, well, Rob got a terrific start there. Not as good as Terry, but he's slotted through into first place. You're right about Ron Haslam. Unfortunately, a pretty slow start, so he's got all that work to do that he had in the first leg. He's got to come through. I'm not sure of his position, but he's not in the first 8 at this moment.
Another man who had brake problems was Jamie Witham, but he in fact finished 8th in the first leg. His brakes failed as well, not obviously to the same extent of those of Terry Rymer, who had to retire from the fray. He was well up, of course, dicing for the lead, but then his brakes packed in. Haslam now behind Ray Stringer. Haslam number 20 behind 17 Ray Stringer. Haslam then coming out from behind the Stoke Golding man on the Mobile One Team Coleman Yamaha. So the Norton of Haslam, still a lot of work to do, but ahead of him, of course, Jamie Witham, then Fogarty. There's Terry Rymer, number 1. Reynolds now up into second place. Fogarty in 4th. Jamie Witham. Matt Llewellyn also going round, number 15. But Rob McElnea from Reynolds.
Rob McElnea will be very, very keen to try and make a break at this early stage, but he's obviously aware that Ron Haslam will be coming through. He's probably not aware that he's so far back at this point, but he knows that he's probably the quickest man on the circuit, and he got the fastest lap in the first leg. But Rob had some problems also, and Terry Rymer has another problem there. He's dropped back 3 or 4 places, so I'm not sure what's happened there, but Rymer does seem to be in trouble.
Terry Rymer's about to be gobbled up by number 33, Tim Bourne, on the Kawasaki. That's Reynolds' teammate if this carries on. Haslam, though, right round the outside in the thick of the action now. The man in black in the middle of your picture, number 20, Ron Haslam, rockets past, hurling it round the left-hander as hard as he can. So Haslam really on the charge. It's just unbelievable that he leaves himself so much work to do and have to really ride out of his leathers to make up all that ground he gives away at the start. Number 25 ahead of Haslam, that's Mike Edwards from Wigan, so this pretty much a carbon copy of the first race. Haslam right behind Mike Edwards, the Belstaff logo on top of Edwards' head. The man from Wigan then on the Tilston 750, having ripped the other one off at Donington Park in pretty spectacular style, is trying to keep Haslam behind him. Fogarty number 9, Jamie Witham as well, number 5. There's James Witham on the Mick Grant Suzuki, number 5. Witham, who had a great 250 race, or super sports race, I beg your pardon, with this man. So Fogarty and Witham know each other's track record round here, and what an almighty weave. Unhappy moment there by Witham.
Yeah, he looked like he either locked the front or the rear as he's braking hard into Lodge Corner there, but very fortunately got it all back together and managed to get around the corner without losing too much time. But yeah, these two have had a battle early on, but it's very difficult. They've both got off the 400. We get the twitch here as they're coming into Lodge Corner. Witham hard on the brakes. I think he's just managed. Yeah, the rear wheel, you see the rear wheel skipping if you look very closely. As he tips it in, the rear wheel's locked up and come round on him. Let the rear brake off, but that's sometimes due to engine braking or over rear brakes, using the rear brake too hard. But Witham let the brake off and managed to keep it under control. Here we see John Reynolds now right behind Rob McElnea pushing.
Well, we saw John Reynolds make this sort of inroad into Rob McElnea's lead in the first leg, but then was dropped off the pace. John seems to have trouble sustaining that sort of pace at the front, but maybe leg 2 is proving to be different. Jamie Witham and Carl Fogarty, race leader. So Fogarty now in third place. Then it's Morrison, number 2. So you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 in the race. Number 8, and through on the inside goes Reynolds. Reynolds then has taken the lead in this leg 2 of the 750cc Super Cup. So, Oulton Park, the venue for a stirring performance from John Reynolds from Nuttall in Nottinghamshire. Teammate Tim Bourne also going well in 7th place, number 33. So the green Kawasaki is very much in evidence here. The caption says it all, but the 4 men at the front of the pack, nothing between them. Through again goes McElnea.
Yeah, McElnea took the inside line there, got the better drive out the corner, so he's back in front. But the last thing he needs to do is to be battling too closely with John Reynolds, because it could slow him up. And he's going to be well aware that Ron Haslam will be coming through that pack. It's going to be a big problem for Ron, because while he's got all that traffic, he's unable to put in the fast laps that he did at the end of the first leg.
Ron Haslam then up to 7th place now, so very much on the move through the field, Haslam. You're looking at Fogarty, number 9, from John Reynolds. McElnea now out in front, so Carl Fogarty now up to 2nd place. John Reynolds down to 3rd, Jamie Witham on the Suzuki. So 4 different makes of motorcycle. Yamaha lead, Honda 2nd, Kawasaki 3rd, Suzuki 4th. Jamie Witham from Huddersfield having a brilliant ride. But across the curve again goes Carl Fogarty. Seems to do a lot less mileage than anyone else around here when it comes to the chicane. He just cuts across, clips it very, very finely. Another Yamaha in the hands of Brian Morrison in 5th place. The Tramviewer Yamaha from the Scotsman. 30 years of age, Morrison then. No idea, Steve, what could have happened to Terry Rymer. It's just dropped off.
Well, I think I do know what happened. He's changed his brakes from the first race to the second race, and he's gone to the 6-pot ISR calipers. And I know that they had to start with brand new brake pads, and with only 2 sighting laps and a warm-up lap, there was hardly time to bed those brakes in. So I think he had a certain amount of brake fade until the pad gets up to its working temperature, but he's now back in the hunt and lapping fairly well. So maybe Rymer's got over his brake problems, and we could see him charging back up through the field.
Well, a note we have here tells us really that John Reynolds has sorted out his handling problems in the first race. He slipped back down the order because he couldn't get the handling sorted out. They've since changed the rear shock and the spring, which obviously helped in the early stages, but it could well be that that rear shock's heating up because he's dropped back again to 4th place. Witham has now gone up to 3rd on the Suzuki, having a ride of his life here, Jamie Witham. He's got Carl Fogarty firmly in his sights. So we've still got 4 different makes of motorcycle. We've just had a bit of a switch in the order of 3rd and 4th place. There's Terry Rymer coasting into the pits. Any ideas, Steve?
Well, I can only assume it's brake problems again. Unfortunately, he's been dogged with these problems. So how they can fix it, I'm not sure. But unfortunately, it's put him out. He's not really chasing the championship, but I know he was very keen to win here today.
We'll try and give you the gap on time between race leader McElnea and Ron Haslam when they come across the start line next time. That'll give us some idea whether in fact Haslam is closing that gap.
In fact, the update from the pit is that Terry Rymer did have brake problems once again, so unfortunately that's given him no chance to gain any points towards the Super Cup Championship here today.
We're looking now at the race leader, number 8, Rob McElnea. In 2nd place then, number 9, Carl Fogarty from Blackburn. Then it's Jamie Witham, number 5 from Huddersfield. And from Nottingham, number 6, John Reynolds on the Kawasaki, who's having all sorts of handling problems. We're looking at it weaving and twitching and trying to throw him off almost coming onto the start-finish area.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to have helped his handling problems. John Reynolds' machine looks a little bit fidgety as it comes over the start and finish line back there, but it's a gamble really. If you change your suspension between, you know, the 1st and 2nd leg, it's a bit of a gamble because there's no chance to test, and it can make it better, but it can also make it worse.
The top 6 then, and at this moment in time, let me say that the gap between Rob McElnea, the race leader, and Ron Haslam in 6th place is 4.78 seconds. So not a million miles apart, Steve.
No, there's certainly, I think Ron had that deficit in the first leg, and there he is, number 20, Ron Haslam. He had that sort of deficit in the first leg and managed to come through to 2nd, so he's still within the running. Haslam now has set the fastest lap, and the reason that he didn't at an earlier stage was that he had a lot of traffic to pass, and now he's got a clearer road. So Ron Haslam, I think, is going to be the big threat.
Well, let's watch Haslam and see if he can blast the Norton pass. And that's Jamie Witham. No, that's not. That's Mike Edwards from Wigan, I beg your pardon. Mike Edwards from Wigan. Number 10, Roger Burnett as well, coming up across the grass. Everybody up safely on their feet. So Roger's race is run. Mike Edwards, Yamaha, quite badly bent. And number 18, that's Mark Linscott, also from London, on the Pelham Holmes Yamaha, or rather off the Pelham Holmes Yamaha. Interesting stuff. That was clipped by Mike Edwards. The straw then in the middle of the Fulston chicane. The battle still for third and fourth places. Marshall's desperately trying to sweep the debris and bits and pieces off the track. McElnea going past the tail ender, still leading the race, but that might just have given Haslam the opportunity to close a little bit. A tail ender in the way of McElnea. Fogarty has gone as well. Witham is still tucked in, and so's Reynolds. Now we're looking for Morrison, or is it Haslam?
Unfortunately, there will still be some straw laying on the track around the Fulston chicane, so let's hope the marshals have cleared up as much as they can, because straw isn't the best stuff to get grip off of, so it could be very, very slippery as they come through the chicane now.
Well, Rob McElnea, the race leader, number 8, still doing his utmost to break away, but Carl Fogarty determined to get the win if he can as well. Haslam now up to 5th. Well, there it is. He's gone past Morrison, so Ron Haslam, number 20 on the Norton, is up to 5th. Reynolds has gone past Jamie Witham again, back into 3rd, so the Team Green Kawasaki man has by no means given up the fight. He's in 3rd, Yamaha leads, Honda 2nd, Kawasaki 3rd, Suzuki 4th, and Norton 5th.
And Ron Haslam again sets the fastest lap, 1:36.24. So he's on the charge. Ron is on the charge, and it's whether or not he's on lap 7 now, so we're at half race distance.
Well, there you see the top 6 riders. 3rd and 4th men at the moment, John Reynolds and Jamie Witham. Over the brow of the hill now comes Haslam through the valley. This is the battle for 3rd and 4th, though. That Kawasaki weaving and twisting, shaking its head in protest there as Witham goes through again. So Jamie Witham seems to have the Suzuki much more nimbly set up. He can turn in beautifully and slip through on the inside.
Yeah, I just think he's pushing that bit harder. Jamie Witham's in a very determined mood, and he's charging heavy, hard on the brakes. We saw how hard he was braking earlier on when he got that Suzuki twitching around, and he really is trying very, very hard at the moment.
Well, we'll see how the gap compares again between race leader and Ron Haslam. It's the battle for 3rd and 4th still. Jamie Witham, 101.8 miles an hour, scorching round Witham now, and that's in an effort to shake off the pursuing Kawasaki of John Reynolds. Putting his knee down on the tarmac as hard as he can, really scrapping. And look at Haslam. Haslam's almost joined the party as well. Over the brow of the hill comes Rocket Ron, down towards the right-hander. Reynolds again sweeps through, and Jamie fights back, tooth and nail. These two are at it. Meanwhile, out in front, Rob McElnea still leads from a very small margin over Carl Fogarty. A massive wheelie from the Suzuki of Witham. And Haslam is in the frame in 5th place, but I think it's a bit too much to expect to ask him to catch this pair.
Well, I'm not so sure. Ron is catching them very, very quickly, and he's able to pass Witham and John Reynolds quite easily, because he's got the speed down the straight, so it's not going to be that he's going to be slowed up round the corners. You can see there the exhaust pipe of the Norton glowing red hot as the exhaust ones burn out the back of that rotary engine. Quite a spectacular sight.
3.92 seconds the gap between the race leader and this man, Ron Haslam, number 20. Still these two then, 1st and 2nd. That's the 2nd place man, number 9, Carl Fogarty. Ahead of him, number 8, Rob McElnea. Witham, Reynolds, and then Haslam. Again, the fastest lap. So the record's tumbling here. Burn the record books, throw them away. It's all happening here at OultonPark. The first big national meeting for years here at OultonPark. And what a tremendous motorcycle race program we've had so far today.
I think at this point, Ron has... Oh, there's someone tumbled off there at the chicane again, but here we're back with Witham. John Reynolds seems to have the speed down the straight. He'll close on Witham as they come out of the chicane here. Again, I think he'll try and take the passing manoeuvre on the inside. He's getting over to the right-hand side of the track. He'll be looking to get down the inside of Jamie Witham. No, he can't quite do it. Witham's late on the brakes. So lap 9, Ron Haslam has closed right in now on John Reynolds.
And I wonder, do they know just how large the Norton threat is behind them? 5th place then Haslam, and he could scoop 3rd in one fell swoop as he comes through here, right on the back wheel of Reynolds. Haslam will be looking for the inside. Fogarty has closed also on McElnea. Haslam's moved over on the inside line and he's sliced almost into 4th, but not quite. He'll get it next time though, or the superior speed of the Norton. And just look, as Steve Parrish said, red hot inside the exhaust pipe. Unbelievable engine temperatures. Past Reynolds then on the inside.
Yeah, he went for the inside of John Reynolds then, he used the superior power, so that's got rid of one. Next he'll have Jamie Witham in his sights. Whether or not John Reynolds will try for the inside as they come down here into the Cascades, no, he decides to let Ron go on his merry way.
Out of Cascades then, along past the leg. Jamie looks over the shoulder, but here it comes, the relentless Norton threat. Tremendous. So Haslam now up to 3rd. All that is between him now and Jamie Witham fighting back, but no, Haslam threw it in. Round the sweeping right-hander, powers away now as hard as he can. Island Bend was where Haslam took it off across the chicane now. That's Carl Fogarty, just flicked through your picture there. So the gap now between them closing visibly. Haslam in 3rd place, race leader Rob McElnea number 8, then it's Carl Fogarty number 9. Haslam number 20, John Reynolds now has got the better of Jamie Witham, but Haslam really piling on the coals now on the Norton.
He has a clear road in front of him, so again I think we'll probably see Ron Haslam setting the fastest lap. He's charging 101.88 average miles an hour. Bearing in mind some of these corners they're having to slow down to 60 miles an hour, so that indicates how fast the majority of the corners are taken at. Well in excess of 100 miles an hour, most of the corners on this circuit.
2 750cc races at each of these Super Cup rounds. We've had one already today. This is leg 2. There are 20 points available for the win in each one. Rob McElnea took the win in race 1. Ron Haslam was runner-up. He'd love to reverse the order, but it's looking unlikely. He's closing, but he has to not only get past number 9, Carl Fogarty, but also then get past the race lead. Haslam has gone. Ron Haslam has gone. The Norton is coasting. The Norton is coasting in 5th place. There's the Norton going off the circuit in 5th place, so a mechanical problem has robbed Ron Haslam of any more glory in the 750c Super Cup here at OultonPark. So a disconsolate Ron Haslam retires the Norton after such a valiant charge up through the order.
Yeah, that's really bad luck, because it was going to be a grandstand finish. The way that Ron was coming through, I think once again we would have seen a very, very close finish. Rob McElnea won't know at this point that Ron Haslam's out of the race until he comes back past his pit point. Then they'll show, I would guess, Ron Haslam out of the race, which will, I'm sure, be a great relief for Rob McElnea.
Reynolds and Witham. This is all about 3rd again. These two have nearly kept this up throughout the race, not let off the pressure at all. Reynolds just in front of Jamie Witham. What an enormous amount of respect they must have for each other's talent, because they're really stuck in here.
You see the machines weaving and twisting. When Jamie Witham there, he's getting the power down, the rear wheel's trying to slip out from under him. He's just done on throttle control, just easing it back when it starts to slide. Powering, leaving big black lines that accelerate out of there. Producing about 140 brake horsepower. And as you look at them now, they're doing in the region of 130 miles an hour as they cross the start and finish line. Hard on the brakes, Witham down the inside.
Old Hall corner then. Down the avenue, Denton's, and then the left-hander at Cascades. Reynolds, nose in front, only just. Along Lakeside to Island. Left-hander of Island Bend. And then up to the Shell Oils corner, that very, very sharp second gear on these big bikes, right-hander, the banked right-handed corner. Just watch the pictures. What a thrilling moment for Jamie Witham. A great race in the Super Sports class and an equally fantastic ride in this one, dueling with John Reynolds throughout the race distance. Out in front, Rob McElnea number 8, and in 2nd place, Carl Fogarty number 9.
Well, this is going to greatly increase Rob McElnea's championship hopes here. Ron Haslam was his biggest threat, and unfortunately he's out of the race now, so pit signals will be given to Rob McElnea. Haslam out, and I don't think he'll be cruising to a win, but he's not so desperate to keep out in front at this moment now.
Still out in front, Rob McElnea, though. He might be cruising to a win, but that's the gap now. Second and third have indeed dropped off the pace just a little bit. Either that or Carl Fogarty has turned the wick up fractionally to try and steal the lead from out of the pocket of Rob McElnea. Witham was on the inside there. Reynolds will now have a look at the right-hander, if he possibly can, at Old Hall.
Jamie Witham is riding the wheels off the Suzuki, because bearing in mind it's a 4-year-old model, really. It's one of the older superbikes that are about, and he really does get the best out of that machine. You can see it's not as fast as Reynolds is down the straight. Reynolds managed to pull him back in along this faster part of the course and up the main straight, but Witham is just charging. He's sticking it in really, really fast, late on the brakes, heeling the machine over.
Well, the expectation having gone out of the race a bit with Haslam's retirement, because we were looking forward to Haslam building on that third place, maybe getting past Carl Fogarty, and maybe even, who knows, taking the lead from this man, race leader Rob McElnea, who has almost ridden, I say almost, to another impeccable double. He really has been the man of the moment in the 750cc class this year, and has never enjoyed his riding so much as he has on the home front. Has done a super job for the Yamaha team in the UK, McElnea, just as John Reynolds, number 6, has for Team Green Kawasaki. Number 31, they're lapping John Williams from Grimsby. We've seen him before today. So Williams about to be passed now. Witham is now getting away from John Reynolds, number 6, as Reynolds picks the front up. Witham then looking as though second place, or third place is his, I beg your pardon. Looking for the last lap flag to. Well, Steve, a bit of the steam went out when Haslam went, but certainly a nice warm feeling, I would think, for Rob McElnea. Yes,
it certainly is. Rob was very, very keen to win this championship this year. Terry Rymer took it for the Loctite Yamaha team last year, and now it's Rob's turn as Terry's away doing the World Championships. I think Rob was a little disappointed to not go away doing the World Championships, but he's more than made up for it with his tremendous performance.
Race leader then, 30 years of age. Years of Grand Prix experience. 250cc level, 500cc level.
I think it has to be said that Rob McElnea now is riding as good as he ever has done throughout his career. He's built up a lot of confidence. There's not so much pressure on him as there was back maybe in some of the 500 days, and he really is enjoying his racing at the moment. There's a lot to be said for that. If you can enjoy your racing, then you ride that bit better.
Fogarty then heading for 17 points in second place. A lot of tail-enders ahead of the race leader, McElnea. Building up behind the traffic, but no real panic. This will move him, could well be into an unassailable position in the championship. 2 more rounds, or 2 more races to come. Over the line goes Rob Mack. McElnea gets the win on the 20 points, so that's 40 points to add to his tally that he came here with this morning. We'll give you an update on the championship standings very, very shortly, but the race winner, absolutely no doubt about that at all. Number 8, Rob McElnea, from number 9, Carl Fogarty on the Honda. Confirmation of that win then. Rob McElnea cruised home in the final 2 laps from Carl Fogarty. Witham got the better of John Reynolds. Brian Morrison was 5th throughout, and Ray Stringer brought another Yamaha into 6th. The result of that final encounter then really puts the title firmly in Rob McElnea's hand. Just 2 points needed to clinch it. Haslam on 118, Ray Stringer and Reynolds 94, Morrison and Carl Fogarty. But it looks as though the 750cc Supercup champion is going to be Rob McElnea.